Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Open the Mangalacharan. This is a small Mangalacharan. If you practice this, then I'll give you the long Mangalacharan. First, try to practice this Mangalacharan. In the introduction itself, it is there. Om Agyana Timira. Open the introduction verses. Open. You got that? Open. Got? Om Agyanatimmirandasya Jnanam Om Agyanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Bharyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Vipasindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bas. Then, so today we'll be taking the from the verses 12 onwards, 12 to 20, which is a sign of victory of war. Already in the first chapter, first verse itself is a sign of victory of war. Now we will be doing the remaining signs of victory of war, which is actually, it is proved that the victory will be there on the side of Pandavas. In the first sign itself, we saw Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetra. This line itself is enough. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetra. In this Kurukshetra, Dharma will be established. And Dharma is there on the side of Pandavas because Krishna is there on the side of Pandavas. So when Krishna is there on the side of the Pandavas, that means the war will be won by the Pandavas. Dharma is going to be established. Now let us see the 12th verse. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuru vridha pitama sihanadam vinatyochaihi shankam dadma pratapavan. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuru vridha pitama sihanadam vinatyochaihi shankam dadma pratapavan. Now, when Bhishma Pitama saw the confused state of his grandson Duryodhana, we saw in the previous verses how Duryodhana is completely confused and he is really playing a diplomatic role. That means he's sometimes praising his teacher or grandfather, sometimes criticizing his teacher and grandfather, and has no faith in them. That means he's afraid that they will take the side of Pandavas. That is why, just to give some confidence to him that we are there in your side, just to give him some confidence, here Bhishma Pitamaha blew Shankha, blew the conch shell. Blowing of the conch shell indicates the sign that we have to start the war. To start the war, the first thing is what? To blow the conch shell. Now, another question comes, blowing of the conch shell, how is it that it is a sign of victory of war? Because the conch shell is blown on the side of Kauravas. But it is said, wherever the conch shell is blown, it may be on the side of Kauravas or the Pandavas, but it is in the land of Kurukshetra. In this land of Kurukshetra, the conch shell is blown. It is said, wherever the conch shell is blown, 4 righteous principles are going to be established. What is this 4 righteous principles? We have already discussed. Dharma is based on 4 principles: non-violence, purity, austerity, and truthfulness. These 4 principles are established wherever the conch shell is blown. Wherever conch shell is blown, you are actually provoking or invoking Krishna. You are invoking the Lord. That is why it is said in the house also conch shell should be blown. You know how many houses conch shell is blown? You should blow the conch shell. You should blow the conch shell. It will come. Initially, it will sound like a dog's voice or some other different sounds. But it is very easy to blow. It is not difficult. That is why in every house there should be a conch shell. Before starting the deity worship, first thing has to be done is blowing the conch shell. Wherever conch shell is blown, understand 4 basic principles will be established. When we say non-violence, non-violence means compassion. Compassion means not hurting anyone. It is generally said, if you cannot do something good to somebody, at least don't hurt that person. But if you see in the household lives and all, somebody hurt somebody, and that hurting is there so much, deeply rooted, that that thing doesn't go out, isn't it? It's so difficult to come out of such a state where somebody insults you, criticizes you. All these things happen because of irreligiosity. Wherever conch shell is blown, this thing will automatically go away. At least for that purpose, invoking Lord. Lord is present where Dharma is present. So this is a sign of victory of war, because Bhishma blew the conch shell on the land of Kurukshetra. So dharma is going to be established. Non-violence is going to be established. You say, what is this full of violence? Once Russia, they put a complaint against Bhagavad Gita that your book is actually provoking war, and you say that it is going to establish dharma. Dharma is based on non-violence. Yes, dharma is based on non-violence. Today they put the case on Bhagavad Gita and all those things. What are they doing? What is happening? What is happening? They're killing so many people. Now, when Krishna says to Arjuna that fight, you fight in the war. Mamanusmara yuddhacha, Krishna says. Remember me, fight, Krishna says. Krishna is not saying don't fight, fight. Wherever war is there, killing will happen. Violence means there will be killing. But still, when Krishna says perform war or take part in the war, Krishna is actually establishing non-violence. How to understand this? First, we should understand the root of violence is enviousness, isn't it? What is the root of violence? Today also we are seeing violence happening. The root of violence is enviousness. The root of violence is capturing territories. The root of violence is self-ego. This is the root of violence. All these are the root of violence. You see any war, where a person forgets his relationship with Lord, there violence happens. Now Krishna went as peace messenger. He went as peace messenger. He just said, give 5 pieces of land. But what did Duryodhana say? I will not give even a small place which is occupied by the tip of the nail. That means he has so much of enviousness towards Pandavas. To remove that enviousness, sometimes they say, a needle removes another thorn. A needle is used to remove a thorn. Thorn removes another thorn. When there is a thorn, what you will do? You will take a pin and you will remove that thorn. In the same way, this violence which is employed by Krishna is actually to establish non-violence, where the enviousness has to be uprooted. But in the current scenario, if you see, the violence is there. You may say justify, okay, this country is the best or that country is the best, whatever it may be. But the root cause is only enviousness and self-ego. It's a self-ego. And sense enjoyment, it is centered around self, whatever it can be. That self can be a country self. The country can be in the self also. Self can be singular, self can be plural also. But again, it is for the self. That means the self is centered around. But when Krishna tells to Arjuna, fight, Arjuna says, I don't want to fight. In this chapter, if you see, Arjuna will clearly say, I don't want to fight. That means he doesn't have that retaliating attitude, a revenging attitude. He is very, very humble. That is why Krishna took the side of Pandavas. They don't have enviousness. Krishna wants to uproot the enviousness from the heart of Duryodhana. That is why violence is employed. That is why this book, Bhagavad Gita, is not the book of violence. In fact, this book is to establish non-violence. This book is to establish that pure heart and the pure consciousness. The pure consciousness is freed from 6 vices. There are 6 vices which is there around our consciousness, which is covering our consciousness. That is greed, kama, krodha, anger. Kama, krodha, lobha. Kama means desire. Kama means desire. Lobha means greed. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha. Moha means illusion. Illusion. Mother, pride, matsarya, enviousness. You see, any war of these days where the dharma is not there, adharma, where the violence is based on adharma, they have these 6 factors: kama, desire, desire to rule, desire to capture, krodha, anger, anger to such an extent humanity is forgotten. There are kids who are dying. There are men who are dying, women who are dying. All these things are forgotten. Somebody is suffering, somebody is crying. The heart has become so hard. It's war. Okay, in the war we are, even when somebody is insulting someone, that time also his heart is very hard. He is not understanding the feelings of a person. That means hard-hearted person. It's not that every scolding is hard-hearted. Even Krishna scolded Yudhishthira. Krishna also scolded Arjuna. But that scolding by a teacher or a mother is never hard-hearted. Mother also scolds the child because there is a concern. When there is a concern, that scoldings are actually love, which is transformed in the way of scoldings. Sometimes they spare the rod, spoil the child. So kama, krodha, that is why every krodha should not be categorized as violence. Indian mothers are always scolding. In the foreign, even if they want to scold, they cannot scold because the child can call the police and take the mother up. So Indian mothers always scold. Without scolding, the child doesn't see the day. And the child thinks today mother has not scolded, something wrong. My son used to tell me, Mummy, you are a putna. I said, hey, whatever you call putna or whatever. Because I used to thrash him. Why I used to thrash him, his handwriting was very bad. And he used to not write properly. And very, very naughty. So sometimes it happens. Not that every day, but sometimes mothers has to do that. So that time the mother may be putna for the child. It doesn't matter. Indian mothers are always putna for the children. But it doesn't matter. But that krodha has a concern, a love, a care. So when you care a person, that krodha is proper. So kama krodha. But that krodha which has so much of desire to just have the self centered around, then that krodha will always have lobha. And what is that lobha? What is that lobha? That lobha is to gain more and more. The lobha is to gain more and more. If something is there, I want more. They are not peaceful. I occupied this territory. Now I want this territory. I will not spare Ukraine. Comes here. I will not spare. Ukraine people say, why, who are you to control me? So all these things happen. Lobha. So in this, there is only war. And in this war, who is dying? Why this war is not called Dharma Yuddha? Because in Dharma Yuddha, leaders stand in the front. The leaders stand in the front. Shivaji Maharaj, when he fought, he did not sit in his AC compartment, AC rooms, and told all his soldiers, you go. No. He stood in the front. There's a nice story in Alexander also. When Alexander's troop was coming, Alexander used to stand in the front. Those days, the leader used to be there in the front and they used to take the troops. Alexander was very thirsty. It's on a desert. Somehow leader is very thirsty. Somebody brought one bottle of water. Alexander threw it. He said, as much as I am thirsty, the soldiers are also thirsty. I will not drink even a drop of water. So, those days, the war used to happen based on Vedic principles. The Vedic principles say the leaders should be in the front. All the leaders are sitting in their offices and allowing the soldiers to fight, and the innocents are killed. Ultimately, they are killed. Who are suffering? The innocents are suffering. So that is not Dharma Yuddha. That Yuddha is not Dharma Yuddha. So in this Yuddha, what is happening? Now just see, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, illusion. What is illusion? If I become the greatest ruler, I can be the most powerful person. That is illusion. You can say, you idiot, you can never be a powerful person because the most powerful person is Krishna himself. And the most powerful weapon what Krishna has is Kala, that is death. Even the most powerful person has to die. He has to face this examination known as death. So this so-called illusion which a person thinks I am the most powerful person, this is going to fade away and vanish also. Yesterday I was seeing the online which was happening. where people were commenting. It was online live chat was happening, where the ambassadors of different countries were there. Just I saw, I never see anything, but just I saw. Then there was a chat which was going on, online chat. Many people, somebody was saying, I love you, flute, what is the name? Putin. Somebody said, somebody criticized, somebody praised, somebody dubbed him. I just go, Namai Vanshu Jivaloki. Everybody are anshas of Krishna. Just love Krishna, just love everyone. But this is the highest teaching. There cannot be. I don't know who must have read. Somebody may not have read also. We are all servants of Krishna. The moment we forget this, there is an illusion which covers our eyes. And that is the illusion that we are thinking that we are the greatest people. We can become something great. Okay, even if we acquire everything, still one day we have to face examination known as illusion. Then comes mother, the pride. The pride is because of illusion. The person is pride personified, isn't it? The personification of pride. And in this pride, suppose he has everything, he has pride. He doesn't have something, then he has enviousness. So the cause of adharma is these 6 things. Any yuddha or any insults, whatever you can say, even in yuddha is a thrashing. Thrashing is done in 3 ways. Either in the mind, or in the words, or in the action. So sometimes gross action are seen to be a war. In the mind, you have so much of enviousness that you curse that person. You don't want his good things to happen. Then that is also, it's actually as good as war. It is a very subtle war. There you are cursing. It should not be done. Parasukhi asahanam, parautkarshanam asahanam. Somebody is progressing, you are not able to see that. And that is what? In the mind you are cursing. Mother never curses. There is a difference between a mother and a teacher. When the teacher may be BA, B.Ed, but her student is becoming IIT, then she will be very happy. She will not feel that enviousness. Oh, I did not do IIT. No, she will feel proud. Even if mother only knows to make dosas, she doesn't know anything. Even she may be illiterate also. But mother takes a pride when the child studies something, higher education. That is why mother's scoldings, teacher's scoldings are not taken as enviousness. They are not considered as enviousness. That is only for our benefit. Now, so in this way, this hidden enviousness, which is in the form of like mental anger, mental curse, these are all hidden enviousness. Sometimes it comes out in the form of words. You hurt the person. You don't leave an opportunity to hurt a person. Like now Mahashivratri is coming. All of you join the class. Online I'm going to be. The glories of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Param Vaishnava. He is the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna. When in the assembly of Daksha, he could not stand because he was absorbed in Krishna. He did not stand. It is not that intentionally he wanted to insult Daksha. Daksha is his father-in-law. At that time, Daksha curses and Daksha goes on criticizing him to the extent he was just criticizing his behavior, his looks, his appearance, his clothing. And in this way, he is criticizing to such an extent. There in the purport, he said, who is Lord Shiva? He is the greatest Vaishnava. The quality of a Vaishnava is the highest Vaishnava, where he is seeing even a bad to be good. That is the nature of a Vaishnava. Even there is a fault in somebody, he will not see it as a fault. He will try to see it as something wonderful. That is why devotees are known as Saragrahi. Saragrahi means they only take the Sara. Like when Narada met Valmiki, who was Valmiki? Who was Valmiki? A great hunter. But Narada, what did he say to Valmiki? Chant Ram. He said, I don't know. I don't know to chant Ram because every time I'm only chanting Mara. What you know to chant? ये मर गया, ये मर गया. मरा आता है? हाँ मरा आता है. बोलो मरा 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 मरा. मरा से हुए. So that means that is why exalted devotees, they only see the good. What is that good? They are all living entities having a human body. Getting a human body is also not so easy. Getting a human body, a human tongue is not so easy. So a great devotees, what they do, they give opportunity to chant the holy name of Krishna. So this is dharma. And if these 6 things are there, then adharma is there. And dharma is establishing non-violence, truthfulness, purity, and austerity. Blowing of the conch shell is a sign of victory of war because these 4 principles are going to be established. Already Yudhishthira Maharaj, Dhritarashtra has told this. Dharma Kshetre, behind what happened? Blowing the conch shell. Dharma Kshetre, you told us Dharma Kshetre, blowing the conch shell happened. All this is happening on the side of whom? The side of Kauravas, just imagine. On the side of Kauravas, Dhritarashtra says, Dharma Kshetre, Bhishma Pitamaha is blowing the Shankha. Krishna says, you all are doing like this, that is why I am going to give this victory to whom? Pandavas. Because all has been told by whom? By the side of Kurukshetra, Kauravas. In this way, the conscience blew. Tata Shankascha Vairyaschа Padavanaka Gomukhaha Sahasaiva Vihanyanta Sashabdastu Mulo Bhava Tata Shankascha Vairyascha Padavanaka Gomukhaha Sahasaiva Vihanyanta Sashabdastu Mulo Bhava. Then after that, after the conch shell was blown, drums, bugles, trumpets, horns, everything sounded. And the whole sound was so tumultuous. If you have seen old movies, then all cut. When the war starts, all this starts. So nowadays, where the such signs are there? Actually, war means first conch shell. Why conch shell? So that dharma will be established. One side will be adharma, one side will be dharma, adharma. One side adharma, one side will be dharma. But when the conch shells are blown, all these trumpets and everything is blown, there is a sign. It's not that somebody is sleeping and you drop a bomb. It doesn't work. Because in the dharma yuddha, without having the other party fully armed, you should not attack them. Especially you should not attack a person who is sleeping. It is adharma. It's a wrong thing. So here, these all things are there. These all things are all lacking in this current scenario of any yuddha. Somebody can say we are protecting our enemy. Somebody say we are protecting our armies. Our army, this person is protecting his armies. Whatever it may say, it is not dharma yuddha. Because first thing is there, conch shell is not blown. Conch shell is blown, then 4 principles will be established. Maybe on this side or that side, 4 principles will be established. But current scenario, wars are only giving rise to these 6 vices, more and more rise to these 6 vices. Now the 14th verse. Now 2 signs of victory of war is over. Now let us see the 14th verse where we have another 2 signs of victory of war. Tatha Shvetairhaeryukte Mahati Sandane Sthito Madhavah Pandavaschaiva Divyau Shankhau Pradhatmatuhu Tatha Shvetairhaeryukte महती सन्दने स्थितो माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदद्मतुः. So on the other side, who are there? Krishna and Arjuna. And they are stationed on a great chariot, Mahati. Mahati Sendane. Mahati Sendane. Sendane means chariot. They are stationed on a great chariot. And this chariot is driven by white horses, Shvetai Hayir. And on this chariot, Madhava is there. Now Krishna is addressed as Madhava. Whenever Krishna is addressed in different ways, it signifies the verse. Why Krishna Pandavaha or Krishna Arjuna has not been told. Madhavaha Pandavaha has been told. Divyau Shankau Pradhanati. Wherever Arjuna is addressed in a different name, Krishna is addressed in a different name, that is signifying certain things. In that verse, there is certain importance, such significance is there. So the third sign of victory of war is the chariot itself. The chariot is given by Agni Devata. So this chariot goes in how many directions? Agni goes in how many directions? In all the directions. Totally how many directions are there? 8 only? Only 9? 10. 10. Up and down also. No? So 10 directions. Agni goes in all directions. So this chariot moves in all the directions. That means where is a chariot, the other party is not able to know. As Agni, it goes in all the directions. It is very difficult to ascertain where is actually the Agni. In the same way, this chariot goes in all the directions. It's very difficult to ascertain where is this chariot itself. So this is the sign of victory of war. And then Madhava, husband of goddess of fortune, husband of Lakshmi. So wherever Lakshmi is there, husband of Lakshmi, that means wherever husband is there, wife also will be there. So Lakshmi is there on the side of Pandavas. Lakshmi means fortune, goddess of fortune. So fortune is there on the side of Pandavas. Now Pandava, name Pandava. Jayastu Panduputranam Yesham Pakshe Janardhana. You see the purport it has been given. Jayastu Panduputranam, Jay to Panduputra. Why? Yesham Pakshe Janardhana. On whose side there is Janardhana. So Krishna has taken the side of Arjuna. Because Arjuna wanted. Duryodhana did not want. Duryodhana came and sat on the head of Krishna. Arjuna sat the lotus feet of Krishna. Though Arjuna was asked to tell his desire, whether Narayana or Narayani Sena, they said, no, we want Narayana. Krishna is there on the side of the Pandavas. Lakshmi, fortune is there on the side of Pandavas. So two are there. Let us see the next one. Purports you should read at home. Okay. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Paundram Dadmo Mahashankham Bhimakarma Vrukodaraha. Krishna. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Paundram Dadmo Mahashankham Bhimakarma Vrukodaraha. So on this side also everybody started playing the conch. Rishikesha played Panchajanya conch, Panchajanyam. And Dhananjaya, there is Arjuna. Now see, Arjuna is known as Dhananjaya. See the different names that will signify this verse. He is playing the conch shell, that is Devadattam. Poundram Dadmau Mahashankam Bhimakarma Vrukodaraha. Now, Bhima is also known as Vrukodara. Vrukodara. Bhima's another name is Vrukodara. Vrukodara means voracious eater. Bhima is actually a Hanuman. Voracious eater. Hanuman appears as Bhima. Same Bhima appears as Madhvacharya. So who is Bhima? He is Hanuman. How much Hanuman eats? Once it so happened, Hanuman goes to Ayodhya and Sita Mata started cooking for him. So much so that all the ration of the palace is over and they called for more ingredients. Everything is over. Sita Mata is thinking how much he will eat. And practically whole Ayodhya's all ration is also over. Then somebody told what to do. Then Prabhu Ram said, just give him one Tulsi Patra. Then Tulsi Patra is given, then he was satisfied. It's also satisfied. It's also so easy to satisfy Bhima. Bhima is Vrukodara. His another name is Vrukodara. And how are his activities? Bhima Karma. Bhima Karma means Herculean task. Means the task which is very difficult for others to do, he does it very easily. Herculean. That's so Bhima Karma is not the name. It's not Bhima. Bhima here refers to very great task or Herculean task which is very difficult to pick up. So he is playing the conch shell. And just imagine how will be this conch shell because he is such a voracious eater, voracious body. How will be his Mahashankam? That is why it is known as, his name of the conch shell is Poundram, and it is how Mahashankam, biggest Shankha, Mahashankam. Panchajanyam Rishikesha. Let us see. Krishna is addressed as Rishikesha. Rishikaha Ishaha. Rishika means senses. Isha means controller. Rishika means senses. Isha means controller. So Rishikesha refers to one who is controlling our senses. Indirectly, he is controlling the senses of Arjuna also. Arjuna's senses are completely under the control of Krishna. We are all controlled by Krishna. So now, once Krishna and Balaram, they go to Sandipani Muni's ashram. They were sent by Vasudev so that they will study the 64 arts. So when Sandipani saw Krishna and Balaram, he understood they are the supreme personality of God, paid obeisances, and told, how can I teach to one who is the source of all knowledge? But still, to set an example, to study anything, you require a teacher. Without a teacher, you cannot study anything. That can be a material education or spiritual education. You require a Guru Shishya Parampara. You require a Guru. So to teach that, Krishna sets his own example. So he goes to Guru Sandipani Muni's ashram. Now, Sandipani Muni, when you go to Guru, naturally Guru Dakshina is given. After you study everything, in those days, Guru Dakshina is to be given in the Gurukul. Now, Krishna and Balaram, they are asking what Guru Dakshina you want to teach her. He says, bring my son back. I have lost my son. Bring him back. Krishna knows where is his son. Because of some impious activities, his son is there in the hellish atmosphere, suffering the hellish condition. So now to go there, go to the hellish planet, Krishna did another one thing. What he did was, he and Balaram, they jumped in the ocean and killed a snail demon, Panchajanya, and acquired the shell. The snail, the snail fish you have, they have shell. You can call it shellfish or snail fish. They have shell. To acquire that shell, Krishna first killed this demon who was actually having this shell. And this shell is transcendental, but somehow this demon in the form of a shellfish was having this shell. Krishna acquired the shell, and both of them, they visited the hellish planet. The hellish planet is governed by Yamaraj. They blew the Shankha. Wherever Shankha is blown, what is indicated? Lord is present. When Lord is present, then The whole place becomes Vaikuntha. So there was no misery experienced even by the people who were in the hellish planet. So Yamadutas or the assistants of Yamaraj, they inflict pain to the people who have done crime. So like they pour the molten iron in the mouth of the people who have done a lot of crime. Somebody has done so much of papa, they get yatana sharira. This yatana sharira means the body which will experience yatana, experience the pain. They will be told to roll on a hot sand or on a pricking, you can say thorns. So that means they are experiencing the pain because this earthly planet is not enough to give punishment. We forget that. That is why fifth canto of Bhagavatam should be read. There the hellish planet has been described. Generally, people don't believe. They think that there is nothing, this life is everything. But whomever they are giving pain, that pain they also have to suffer. Indiscriminately cutting the animals and just for our taste buds, how many times the animals must have cried? Just think, how many animals would have cried? So that much pain when we give to others, we also have to take that pain. So that is why hellish planets are there to give that pain, and the Yatana Sharira is given. But what happened surprisingly was Krishna is blowing the conch shell, and instead of Krishna is present, that place becomes Vaikuntha. So that place became Vaikuntha. Yamaraj, he got the news, he will understand because he said the biggest Bhagavatam is there in Yamaloka. And Yamaraj always reads Bhagavatam. He said among the 12 Mahajanas, the greatest Mahajana, among the 12 Mahajanas, all our 12 Mahajanas are great. One of them is Yamaraj. He's the greatest devotee of Krishna. So he also reads Bhagavatam. He was reading Bhagavatam, he could understand the presence of Krishna. He comes, and in this way, Krishna says, I have come here to take Sandipani Muni's son back. So Panchajanyam has this story that Krishna brought Sandipani Muni's son back to the ashram. Dhananjaya, Dhan Arjit, one who has accumulated lot of wealth. When Yudhishthir Maharaj was to do Rajasuya Yajna, any yajna, that means lot of wealth is required. At that time, Arjuna was sent to different places, and Arjuna could conquer many places and could gather lot of wealth, acquire lot of property, so that it can be used for performing Rajasuya Yajna. So Bhima Karma, voracious Herculean task. Yes, Bhima could perform Herculean task. Hidimba, he killed a Rakshasa, a Hidimba Rakshas. So all these things have been described. Then other brothers also, they also blew their conch shell. Ananta Vijayam Raja, Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha, Nakulaha Sahadevascha, Suhosha Mani Pushpakau. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, he played the conch shell. The conch shell name is Ananta Vijaya. Nakula's conch shell's name is Subhosha. And Sahadeva's conch shell's name is Mani Pushpakam. Then Kashyascha Parameshwasaha, Shikhandi cha Maharataha, Drishtadumno Viratascha, Satakischa Parajitaha. Kashi Raja, he was also Parama Inishasaha. That means he was also a great bowman. Shikhandi is also there. Who is Shikhandi? Then Amba. When Bhishma Pitamaha, he wanted to get his brothers married because he had taken a vow that he will never marry. He went and brought Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. In fact, he, what you call, when you, Haran Karna. Haran, what do you call that word Haran? Haran means what? Forcefully. Forcefully he brought them. When he forcefully brought them, Amba was so pleased with and was attracted by the strength of Bhishma. She wanted to get married with Bhishma, but Bhishma told, I have taken a couple, both that I will not get married. Then Amba thought, anyhow, if you are not going to get married, why should I get married with these two brothers? So in this way, she went and did a lot of tapasya. And she had that retaliating attitude that you have forcefully brought me. And you are not, I want to get married with you. You are not getting married with me. That is why I am going to take a boon so that I can kill you. That is why she becomes Shikhandi. And she is there in the Vratha of Arjuna. In a very, very subtle way, she is there. And that is how, in a hidden form. And afterwards, we can see that how Amba took that opportunity as Shikhandi and threw arrows at Bhishma Pitama. All Maharathis are there. Drishtadimna, son of Dronacharya is there. Virat Raja, there all the Pandavas had taken the Agyatavasa shelter. Sataki, the charioteer of Krishna, they are all present. Aparajtaha, they are unconquerable. They are all blowing their conscience. Drupado here refers to Drupad himself. Draupadeyaschaha, sons of Draupadi. Sarvashah Prithivipati. Everybody are standing there. Saubhadrascha, son of Subhadra, who Abhimanyu, Mahabahu, Shankan Dadmu Pruthak Pruthak. Everybody are playing their respective conscience. When just see when that is given the response. This is the sign of victory of war. When the enemy heart is weakened, understand, this person is going to win the war. Because when your heart is weakened, that means you are in fear, then you cannot conquer. Saghoshodhatarashtaram hridayani vedariya nabhascha prithivim chaiva tumulo bherunadayan. So the sound of this different conch shell was so uproaring, this said, that it shattered the heart. Vedarayat means it shattered the heart of the sons of Dhritarashtra. This tumulaha means so tumultuous. Abhyunadayan. The whole sky was resounding with such sound. It was very horrible to hear. And for whom it was horrible to hear? For the sons of Dhritarashtra. Because they have not taken shelter of Krishna. Whoever has not taken shelter of Krishna, he is always in the fearful condition. But whoever takes shelter of Krishna, he will be always fearless. Srila Prabhupada's name is Abhaya. Abhaya Pradata is Krishna. Krishna says, Sakrudeva prapanno yas tavasmiti yachate abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami etat vratam mama. Even if somebody says, oh Krishna, you are mine, I am yours. You are mine, we cannot say, at least you can say, I am yours. Because you are mine only Radharani can say. We cannot say. We can just say, I am yours, Krishna. Even this much we have said, we are not even surrendered full. Oh Krishna, I am yours. And Krishna says in Ramayana that even if you have not surrendered fully, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, surrender fully and come to me, I will give you moksha. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshishyami ma shuchah. I will give you the, don't fear. But somebody is not able to give up everything. But at least says, I am yours, O Krishna. This much at least he says, Sakriti eva prapanno yas tavasmiti cha yachate. Tavasmiti cha yachate. He is doing this yachana. I am yours, O Krishna. Then Krishna says, Abhayam. What Krishna says? I give that. Abhayam sarva bhutebhyo. I give this abhaya to everyone. And Krishna says, and what is the guarantee? Krishna says, Dadami etat vratam mama dadami. I have taken this vow. Even Krishna takes the vow. Krishna says, Abhayam, I give that abhayam to whoever has said this much at least, small thing. And Krishna says, I give that abhaya. And because of that abhaya means fearlessness, I bestow fearlessness to such person, and this is my promise. Krishna says, Dadami etat vratam mama. I have taken a vrata. We say, no, we have taken so many vratas. Krishna takes the ultimate vrata. And what is that ultimate vrata? To give fearlessness. That is the ultimate vrata. He says, हमने ये व्रत पाला है, वो व्रत पाला है. In all this vrata, we at least ask something for ourselves. But here Krishna says, I give myself to you. I am giving that fearlessness. That is what is given. One who takes the shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. Then 20th verse. This is the sign of victory of war. So how many signs became? 5 signs. 5 signs of victory of war. The 6th sign of victory of war. Hanuman is present. You say, how come Hanuman in Krishna Leela? Because in Ram Leela we have seen Hanuman. How in Krishna Leela Hanuman is there? So it so happened a monkey is sitting and Arjuna wanted to pluck some flowers for Draupadi. So then this also happens with Bhima also. But here now Arjuna and Hanuman's, how they converse, how their meeting happens. So this monkey is lying and Arjuna thinks there's a monkey and monkey's tail is there on the path. It's a general etiquette, you should not cross somebody's body. And tail is also part of the body. So Arjuna says, please keep it aside, I want to go. Arjuna says, see, Hanuman says, see, I'm very tired. You take my tail and keep it aside. It's a very insult for Arjuna. What is this? I'm going to take the tail of monkey and keep it aside or what? But he says, I'm very tired. You really want to go, you take. Then Arjuna tried out. He thought, okay, it's a monkey's tail. I just keep it aside. He could not push even for a small inch, small fraction of inch also. He should not push. Then he understood this monkey is not ordinary monkey. He said, please tell me, who are you? He said, I'm Hanuman. Then he said, Acha, that Hanuman or that monkey is who had helped Rama. Actually, Rama should have asked me. With my arrows, I would have made all the setu. All you monkeys have done. So that pride was there in Arjuna. So Rama took assistance of whom? All monkeys only were there. In his Sena, who were there? Monkeys, gorillas, and all those people only were. Squirrel also was there. Bears were there. So then, when Arjuna told like this, then Hanuman told, okay, make the setu. So then Arjuna started shooting arrows. When Arjuna started shooting the arrows, there was blood on the whole ocean. And Arjuna could see that Krishna is pierced with the arrows. And Rama could see, Hanuman could see, Rama is pierced with the arrows. Then these two could understand that Ram and Krishna are not two different personalities, they are one person only. And
Is on mute, Hare Krishna.
the servant of the Supreme Person, Wherever you require, I will be there. That is why on the chariot, there is a flag. On that flag, Hanuman is seated. It is said wherever Hanuman is there, you chant Hanuman Chalisa. What is said? हाँ भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे. हाँ. So wherever you chant Hanuman's name, no evil things can come. Nothing can destroy you. Sometimes devotees ask, can we chant Hanuman Chalisa? We should chant. Why? Hanuman is the highest servant of Krishna. He is Rudra incarnation. He is actually incarnation of Lord Shiva. One of the incarnation of Lord Shiva is Rudra Rupa is Hanuman. So when wherever presence of the devotee is there, he is the highest devotee. He has not called himself God. Das. He is not coming in the category of demigods also. Don't think him as an ordinary demigod. He is actually Das. You have never seen Hanuman studying like this. He will always sit like this. His presence can be understood only when you look at the feet of Rama. You always sing in the feet of Rama. So that is Hanuman. So presence of Hanuman itself is a sign of victory of war because Hanuman was instrumental in bringing Sita back to Ayodhya. Atha vyavasthitan drishtva datarashtan kapidhvajah prabhutte shastra sampate dhanurudyamya pandavah ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् idamaha mahipate. So now here it is said Kapidhvajaha. Kapi is there. Who is it? Kapi? Vanar. Kapi means Hanuman. He is there on the flag of Pandava. Then what happened? Arjuna took up his bow and was prepared to shoot his arrow. But then, because conch is blown, that means everybody should be ready now. Then here it said, "O king," who is saying this? Sanjaya. Sanjaya is speaking all these things to Dhritarashtra. He's saying, "O king, after looking at the sense of Dhritarashtra, drawing in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Krishna in the following verse." Now war is going to start and he's going to speak now. Here Vyasa is telling, Sanjaya is telling to Dhritarashtra, this is going to happen now. He's going to speak. What is he going to speak? Let us see next time. So further verses 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, they all speak about Bhakta Vatsalata of Govinda. What they speak? This whole section, 21 to 27, Bhakta Vatsalata of Govinda. 28, 29, 30, depression. He said, no, we are in depression. You should see the depression of Arjuna. If you see depression of Arjuna, our depression is very insignificant. Imagine his own people standing, teacher is standing, grandfather whom he loves so much, and he knows the consequences of the war. Consequences of the war is only bloodshed and death. Just imagine how much depression must be there. And then after that starts the reasons given by Arjuna. That is why when we study Bhagavad Gita, we come out of so-called depressions, actually which has no sense. Our so-called depression is only flickering or something like, it has actually no sense because we have forgotten Krishna. Now Krishna is standing with Arjuna and Arjuna is facing this depression. And you say, how come? Krishna is standing with him, why Arjuna should have depression? That is again the plan of Krishna. So then Arjuna becomes a Nimitta Matra. Nimitta Matra Bhavasabhya Sachi. One of the name of Arjuna is Bhavasabhya Sachi. He becomes a Nimitta Matra. So that Krishna can give his highest instruction. Upadesha. Here we stop. Any questions you can ask. The Bhagavad Gita studies are the most important studies, which should not be